Turning now to Killeen, Texas, where inflation and the rising cost of childcare has created a large issue of food insecurity, especially within military families.
And the Armed Services YMCA is working to alleviate that problem one food pantry at a time. And ABC's Mireya Villarreal has more.
It's just before dawn in Killeen, Texas, and already the local Armed Services YMCA is busy. Most days, this is a fitness facility that caters to military families. But on Thursdays, hundreds line up before 7 a.m. waiting for the food pantry to open, many in military fatigues.
COVID exposed military populations to a greater extent. One of them being military spouse unemployment, which has particularly been difficult with the skyrocketing cost of inflation and childcare. Military spouses are struggling to get jobs, and so we saw during COVID this huge spike in need. And so really it became a matter of how are we going to do it.
Since the beginning of the COVID pandemic, ASYMCA has given away 3 million pounds of food at 22 locations around the country. A little over a year ago, this location started giving out food once a month to military families in need. But that need was so great, they used grant money to open a weekly food pantry.
We are now in week 6, almost 700 people a week in that pantry, and we will probably run out of food today by midday. We're limited by the resources. It takes $10,000 to stock that pantry every week.
Amanda Van Loon and Caitlin Long both have husbands stationed at the Fort Hood Army Base in Killeen. The cost of childcare and the uncertainty of where their spouses will be stationed next keeps them from holding down a steady job.
I've had a lot of, odd jobs here and there, retail, restaurants, things like that. But when you apply for a job and they know that, well, you're leaving in a year.
Tight budgets mean both moms have to look for unique ways to feed their families.
We definitely plan together. We'll get together and be like, hey, I've got, this much grocery shopping budget this week. What you got?
Or we just go through each other's pantries too. Like we'll come over and I'm like, I have this. She may have the matching set of, spaghetti sauce, and we'll put it together and just have meals together.
The pair now routinely meet up every week to shop for groceries, sometimes with their kids in tow.
You guys talk about the fact that, food insecurity is a big deal. Mm-hmm. How do you keep that from your kids?
My kids go with us sometimes when we go to the food market. I want them to understand that there is going to be struggle and that other people struggle, and it's something that they don't need to be ashamed of because they can utilize their resources just like she was taught.
But food insecurity isn't just an issue here. 24% of active military families are food insecure. In a recent report released by the Department of Defense, top leaders recognized the problem and set out a roadmap to study the issue and find solutions.
One of which is actually just tracking the issue. You can't know how big the problem is or what the scope of the problem is if you're not counting it.
Until the bigger issues are fixed, Amanda and Caitlin are doing what they can in their own households and keeping a positive attitude, knowing they're not alone in this.
I'm not going to be sad about it because the reality is the military families are all experiencing that as well. We went to the Armed Services YMCA today, and it was packed at 6:40 this morning with people needing help and
a lot
food
of them in military fatigues.
Absolutely.
Everyone here, we all just know that it's a collective thing that we're all going through. You just have to utilize the resources that you have and get through it.
For GMA3, I'm Mireya Villarreal.
Wow, we thank Mireya for that report, and you can help these families and others in need this winter. Feeding America is a nationwide network of more than 200 food banks and 60,000 food pantries, assisting more than 40 million people every year. You can check out their website to donate and find local food banks. They do such incredible work, but I know you and I were just so shocked when we found out that a quarter
of military families, service members willing to lay down their lives for this country, and their families are dealing with food insecurity.
Unimaginable.
Mind-blowing and shameful. All right, anything you can do to help them.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.